Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are very fortunate today to have Youssef Bizri, Channel Solution Engineer at AvePoint. He will present to us this offering by AvePoint called Elements. So Youssef will help us discover how AvePoint Elements empowers managed service providers like yourselves to simplify and scale a Microsoft 365 services delivery. Now, this is done with a centralized visibility, automated policy enforcement, and actionable insights across all tenants. Elements helps MSPs drive efficiency, strengthen compliance, and unlock new recurring revenue streams. Now, this next generation platform enables seamless onboarding, lifecycle management, and risk mitigation across environments without having to jump between portals. So for those of you that do not know me, I am Sylvain Fontaine, technical specialist for modern work and security at IT Cloud in the pre-sales team. So what do you say, Youssef? Let's explore the key features of Elements that are transforming how MSPs manage Microsoft 365 environments today and tomorrow.
Well, yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Sylvain. Thank you for having us today. I'm going to share my screen now. And please confirm once you see it. Can you see my screen, Sylvain?
Yes, I can. All good.
Sounds good. So yeah, hello everyone and welcome. I'm really excited to be here with you today for this session in collaboration with IT Cloud, our great partner, and my great colleague Sylvain Fontaine. So we're going to talk about how MSPs can evolve beyond traditional M365 services today, things like backup and patching, right? And move into the next phase of scalable, differentiated, and profitable service delivery. And the question here I want to open with is simple but powerful. It's 10 p.m. How do you know what your customers are doing, right? Do you know which tenants are at risk? Who shared sensitive content externally today? Or, for example, which workspaces are AI ready and which ones definitely aren't, okay? So for those who don't know me, my name is Youssef Bizri, Channel SE at AvePoint Canada. I've been at AvePoint for about a year and a half now. I've spent 13 years working in the IT industry, always bridging the gap between technical challenges and business outcomes. Today's agenda will take us on a journey. So we'll start with the core business pains that MSPs are facing today, map those to the technical reality, then walk you through how AvePoint helps solve both with a modern multi-tenant platform. We'll explore the confidence platform that your customers already know, dive into AvePoint Elements, and finish with a live demo and go-to-market strategies. Now, before we dive in, let me quickly ground us in who AvePoint is. We're not a startup or niche tool. We're the global leader in data security, governance, and resilience across platforms like M365, Google, Salesforce, and more. Today, we support more than 21,000 organizations in 88 countries, including well-known Canadian partners such as MicroAge, IT, and Gravity, for example. Collectively, those companies trust us to manage over 500 petabytes of data through our platforms. Our platforms are built to scale, hosted across 14 global cloud instances on Microsoft Azure and backed by 24/7 support. So this is the level of reliability and global reach we bring to the table, and the MSPs like you, for MSPs like you, it's what ensures you can grow your business with the confidence that your customers' data is secure, governed, and resilient. So let's zoom in into your world, the day-to-day challenges of running a successful MSP practice, right? So from business friction to operational inefficiencies, let's unpack what's really holding back growth and what we can do about it. So here's what we're hearing constantly from MSPs across the industry. Margins are shrinking. Point number one, especially on traditional services like backup, it's getting harder to stand out in a crowded market. where everyone claims to manage Microsoft 365. Manual operations are still everywhere, right? Whether it's provisioning, lifecycle cleanup, or reporting, there's still bottlenecks that don't scale or generate MRR. And perhaps the biggest blocker would be the lack of cross-tenant visibility, right? You're forced to grow your team just to manage more customers, which eats into your profits. Finally, the market is hungry of AI readiness, risk management, and governance, but many MSPs aren't packaging those services yet, which is really bad. That's a big missed opportunity. So, what's causing all of that? Now, from the technical side, what's happening under the hood that makes growth feel so hard? So here's the technical reality. MSPs are juggling too many disconnected tools, as Sylvain mentioned earlier, relying heavily on manual tasks and lacking a centralized view across tenants. So that leads to configuration drifts, security gaps, and an inability to scale governance or compliance services. And the worst thing is, it makes your services reactive. You're solving problems after they escalate, right? Rather than just preventing them before they start. To bring them close together as two layers, business and technical, and map them clearly, each business use case will be mapped into multiple technical challenges that we presented, right? So for instance, low margins are the result of heavy manual effort and no scalable automation. Lack of differentiation, so that's because core M365 management has become commoditized, unless you're layering on governance or AI readiness. For instance, manual operations and bottlenecks tie directly to the lack of policy templates and centralized orchestration. No visibility, and you need to hire more people. That's because you don't have a multi-tenant dashboard to see across your customers. And finally, you lose recurring revenue if you don't turn your insights or compliance services into products. So now we've laid out problems clearly. Let's look at how AvePoint helps you solve them. We'll do that in two parts. The first one would be what your customers are already using with the Confidence platform, and second, what you, the MSP, can use to scale smarter with AvePoint Elements. Before talking about elements for MSPs, it's important to recognize what your customers already trust AvePoint with today, which is the Confidence platform, right? So at the core of the Confidence platform, everything we do is built on three main pillars. You're already familiar with that, or suites that address the most critical areas of the digital workspace: Resilience Suite, Control Suite, and Modernization. Across industries, organizations already rely on this platform to secure data and empower productivity. So when we talk about helping MSPs here, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about extending the same proven foundation your customers trust and enabling you to deliver this at scale across multiple tenants, right? This is what Elements is here for. So let's reimagine how we can help you manage these controls at scale and shift gears into what this means for you as an MSP. The Confidence platform is already powering enterprise organizations around the world, but MSPs face a unique challenge. You're not managing one tenant or one Confidence platform. You're managing dozens, sometimes hundreds, and doing that with fragmented tools can be overwhelming. That's where AvePoint Elements comes in. So think of it as the MSP layer built on top of the Confidence platform. It takes all those proven capabilities, security, governance, modernization, and makes them scalable across multiple tenants. And one Elements instance can manage all of your customers' Confidence platform instances. And because both platforms are fully integrated, it's like bridging your customer's experience with your perspective as an MSP, right? You see everything in one pane of glass, and you can act across tenants seamlessly. With Elements, you're not just getting another tool in your stack, you're getting a single foundation that allows you to, let's say, consolidate services, standardize delivery, and scale efficiently, all while keeping customers' environments secure and compliant. On the left, you can see Elements here. purpose-built for MSPs. On the right, you see the Confidence Platform, already trusted for enterprise customers around the world. So together, they give you this unified foundation for everything from backup to migration to governance, SaaS security, data lifecycle, and more. And the best part is consolidating services into one integrated platform. So you can also unlock tangible customer outcomes, right? That you see right here on the bottom. So key use cases for Elements here, starting from business to tech. So the first thing I want to show here is what makes Elements powerful is that it drives outcomes for both MSPs and their customers. Already mentioned that. For MSPs, it's about sales growth, service consistency, automation, onboarding, and change management. For customers, it's about better services, right? So faster ticket resolution, actionable insights, higher satisfaction, and even AI readiness. In other words, it's like helping your margins while improving your customers' experience. It's a win-win situation. We will be focusing on the main foundation of Elements today, which would be three core capabilities, let's name them, that we will be focusing on. Tenant baseline, user management, and workspace management. These modules are the building blocks that let you enforce standards, automate operations, and scale governance across multiple customers. Let's break down each one of these. So with baseline drift management, you can unlock insecurity and compliance standards across tenants. If something changes, whether it's a misconfiguration, an error, or even malicious insider activity, Elements can automatically detect, compare, and roll back to the approved baseline. That means minimize change management risk, automated compliance, and enforce standards at scale. If something goes wrong, you have rollback protections ready to go. User management, this is about automating the full life cycle of a user. So from onboarding to policy enforcement to offboarding, you can automate account creation, enforce security policies, reduce manual admin work, and even revoke active sessions if needed. So this not only improves security, but also reduces error rates and saves your team countless hours. Finally, workspace management. So here you can apply governance at scale across teams, SharePoint, and groups. Think of this like if you remember the struggle you guys have with controlling sprawl, limiting sharing behavior, managing external access, enforcing classification rules. So thinking of all these challenges, you can also restrict ownership. You can identify orphaned or inactive workspaces and ensure everything aligns with compliance and security needs, right? So for MSPs, this opens up new service opportunities, governance as a service, while giving customers the peace of mind that their collaboration tools are safe and efficient. So now let's bring all this to life with a demonstration of Elements in action so you can see exactly how it works for you and your customers. Sylvain, can you confirm once more if you can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the Elements portal.
Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier in the slides, AvePoint Elements is your multi-tenant management platform, purpose-built for MSPs. The first thing you'll see when you log in is the command centers that you see right here on the screen. Think of it as your cockpit, right? It aggregates the most important results from the modules listed right here on the left menu. So you don't need to log into each of them every day, like for example, on day 3, day 4, to complete the tasks or the job that I'm about to showcase later. So today we'll narrow our focus to the 3 key modules I highlighted earlier. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look at how customers are onboarded into Elements. So if a customer doesn't already have a confidence platform instance, because again, to remind you guys, all what you see on the screen, these are the confidence platform instances for specific customers that I am inviting or onboarding into my Elements platform. Okay, so don't worry if your customer doesn't have a confidence platform instance, we're going to create it for them right here from this dashboard. So if a customer doesn't already have a confidence platform instance, you can create one here and connect it directly to their M365 tenant by using this option. Now, alternatively, if you can create the instance without connecting it right away to the tenant using a local account, or you can, if they already have a confidence platform instance, you can just invite them to the dashboard, especially if you don't have their credentials, for example, so you can manage them and they can accept the invitation and get managed from within the Elements platform. Now, I'm not going to run this as a feature by feature demo. Instead, I'll show you how this dashboard ties directly to your business and going to conclude that with the right go-to-market strategy in the remaining 2 slides that I still have to present at the end after the demo. So the key question here is, how do you package all what I'm going to show or all what you see here in the Elements platform? How do you package it into services that generate revenue and deliver more value to your customers? So this is where we use, when we showcase Elements, we use something we call the 3 money plays, 3 elements money plays approach. So the 3 plays are divided into like a tiered approach of services, right? This is how I like to name it. So I'll present 3 plays first. So each one is designed and as a package service you can take to market immediately. And for each play of these, we'll have a good, when I say good tier, I mean a tier 1, you can name it, an entry level foundational service that you can offer for your customer, right? So I call it tier 1 or a good tier. And tier 2 would be the better tier, or the, I call it the better tier. So adds more automation for your services, and you can start being more proactive within your capabilities. And the last one, which is the most advanced one, would be the level 3. So I call it the best tier. So the fully optimized advanced package with the highest level of automation, control, and business value, right? So the beauty of this model is that it's flexible. You can either embed these tiers into your existing service portfolio that you already have, or you can create a new AvePoint branded service track that scales as your customers' adoption grows with AvePoint. Play number 1. So as I mentioned, 3 plays, each one will have 3 tiered services. So the first one would be managed tenant hardening using baseline management that you see here. It's the first module. So most customers assume that their M365 tenant is already hardened and compliant, right? But over time, settings will drift and a policy gets relaxed, a new admin misconfigures something, and suddenly you've got an audit risk or a security fire drill, for example. So that's why drift management is one of the easiest services to package for your customers. So offer to help, to offer you help of how you should pitch this to your customers. You can say that what you're selling here is a monthly tenant baseline and drift service. You set a baseline, you monitor deviations that you see right here on the screen, and you provide a compliance attestation. And when needed, you can roll back to the approved state of that tenant status, right? So you create a baseline within baselines and you apply it to whatever customers you're offering this to. And then you start monitoring, right? So depends on the tier of the services you are going to offer them, which I'm going to explain right now. So partners who deliver this service, it's proven today that they are having more than 85% reduction in M365 management time because they're not chasing random tickets everywhere. They're standardizing and proving compliance proactively. Okay, so from a packaging perspective, I'm going back to the same approach I mentioned before. This is where you get to create the tiered service for baseline management. The good tier, which is the first one, is to monitor your customer and provide them monthly reports, right? So as you see here, I have non-compliant customers and compliant customers. So the non-compliant ones would be like, yeah, I am monitoring you, Mr. Customer, and I can provide you with some reports of why are you being non-compliant, right? So if I click on these deviations right here, I can see that I have a lot of changes and conflicts with my baseline. I can go to view change log and provide this to my customer. So as I see here, there was a lot of changes, and a specific user, which is this user, did some changes here, which I can provide to my customer as a good tier level 1. So monitoring and monthly reports of whatever is being changed and whatever conflicts I have in terms of baseline settings, right? Tier number 2, which is the better tier. This is where I get my customers subscribe to more granular guided fixes and recommendations. So based on your drifts findings that we just saw right here in this page, our recommendations would be to keep this or remove this config, etc. So I can just be granular, drill down, and discuss that with my customer. Or maybe I can give them the right consultancy or advice and make it a hybrid remediation process mode between us two. So it's a shared responsibility. I can alert them and they can just take action, or I can take action for them for specific areas of that conflict. Now, tier number 3, which is the best tier, would be to automatically fully enforce my configurations whenever a drift occurs. So whenever issues are encountered, I am fully confident that I want to match these with baselines, so my customer doesn't have any interaction with this. They don't need to be part of this. So I can they fully give me confidence, and I have confidence that my template is what I need to enforce. So that would be tier number 3, a fully automated enforcement of these configs with the ability to roll back to the latest healthy state if any issues occur. So I can restore my tenant to an earlier state. Of course, after being technically, the deploy button will allow me to schedule those things for a specific date and time, or I can do that immediately from the dashboard. Play number 2, which is user management. Again, the same approach I'm going to take. Good tier, better tier, best tier. So the play number 2, which is user management, would, for example, a lot of times you struggle with onboarding, offboarding, repetitive tasks like error prone, etc. So think of this play as the zero touch user lifecycle and cost optimization for your users, right? You can name it that and pitch it to your customers. That leads you to because those issues that I just mentioned, they lead to security gaps and wasted spend on unusual licenses, for example, right? And for MSPs, it's a hidden gold mine. This module, you can automate it and turn it into a productized service, let's say. Now, how you position this is, as I mentioned, a zero-touch join or move or leave plus license right-sizing service for your users. So you guarantee secure, policy-driven user management and, for example, quarterly license optimization reviews. right? So let's jump into packaging now. The good tier. So for user management, you can start from here, the main dashboard, provide basic user management activities like using a little bit of automation to help you provision users, right? So provisioning templates can be really interesting for you. When it comes to provisioning a user template, we don't need to keep like assigning roles, employees, assigning groups or licenses. So all of these can be done through the user provisioning template. So that would be tier number one, right? So I'm helping my customer in those daily activities, provisioning, offboarding, onboarding, password reset, etc. So all of these things can be done as service level number one. Now, I can take some granular actions on some of those tenants. Like if I click on this one, I will be able to perform those actions that I mentioned, like seeing those users with MFA disabled, or maybe see all of my users and take action on this. But what I would recommend is to categorize these two tabs as tier number two, because I'm not just planning on doing some regular management here. I want to export monthly security reports that you see right here on this tab, right? So yeah, I have these users who have MFA disabled, and I have two users that have conditional access policies disabled. So that could be big. I need to address that, right? I have some access from unmanaged devices that I need to troubleshoot, right? So all of these things can be exported as a better tier. Number two, export monthly security and license consumption reports, which could be really interesting. So you can provide monthly security reports and like quarterly consumption reports. This can be made per quarter, right? So that will add value and help your customer have real insights, and of course, dropping a teaser for them so you can start taking action in the best tier. So best tier here would be in the user management to take action on all of these findings, because yeah, it's cool to have all these things, but I need to take action on these. So taking action on these findings, either automatically or but after the customer approval would be the ultimate solution. So this way you're not just saving your customer money, but you're also generating predictable recurring revenue, right? So this is for user management. Now, when it comes to global configurations that we just saw, we talk about baseline management and user management, but what about the data itself? So how do I manage my data that lives in those workspaces? So workspaces are the real risk here. This is workspace management. So in workspace management, we are talking about real risks that lives in the data, and not just those configs that we just covered, data in teams, SharePoint groups, and so on. So oversharing and guest user accounts aren't just a compliance headache. These are examples, right? They also stop customers from being Copilot ready, right? So Copilot needs clean, well-governed data. That's where you come in as MSPs. So how you package this? You can package this as a workspace governance, sometimes Copilot readiness service. Okay, so you monitor sharing behavior, control external access, enforce lifecycle and classification, and provide customers with ongoing, let's say, attestation that their workspaces are safe and AI ready, for instance. How do we package this? So think of it as another tiered service, right? A bit more advanced here. So we can be creative in how you can define the strategy here. So the good tier for workspace management would be basic workspaces configurations, right? So provisioning new workspaces can be also automated by using provisioning templates. Manually adding, deleting a workspace, providing quarterly risk reports. So when I talk about reports, I click on my customer and I will start seeing, for that specific customer, I will start seeing those 5 main dashboards here for that specific customer. So each of these dashboards is a story. So it has a specific use case, right? And by the way, it is integrated with our confidence platform for this specific customer. This is what I mentioned earlier in the slides. So this is the beauty of Elements. So all of these things, all of these links that you see, these are clickable links, by the way. All what you see on the screen, this is linked to the confidence platform. And each one of these tabs can answer specific use cases, right? For example, starting from data security posture management, the DSPM, right here. This one, for instance, is pulling data from policies and insights, which is a module in Confidence Platform, but doesn't require any licensing by default because it comes with a basic version of insights. It's not a license, it's a version, basic version from the Confidence Platform. To the Copilot readiness, right, and analysis tab. So you can see what workspaces are being Copilot ready, are not Copilot ready. How is that being held from a workspace perspective, right? Data protection, if your customers currently use cloud backup, AvePoint Cloud Backup, you're going to see some results being populated right here with ransomware detection and so forth. Last one would be an important one, which is the storage optimization tab and the discovery of irrelevant and raw data. So it could be really important. So all of these tabs, right? These can be categorized as tier 1, the good tier, to export all of these reports and drop them as teasers to your customer, right? It could be really important. Now, I'm going to stick to page number 1, the tab number 1, because it's the most global one, right? It shows me a lot of relevant output. So we will jump to the better tier now. Okay, number 1, I provided some dashboarding, some reports, and I do basic configurations for workspaces. What about taking actions on the findings that I see on the screen on these dashboards? So that would be the better tier number 2. So this is how you can start taking action on these, right? So everything you see here. Now you would ask me, Yusuf, how do I know where and what action should I take? This is why we have this dashboard, and it's all populated with clickable links, right? So when I say inactivity, it's right here. So when I click on 100% inactive workspaces, which is a disaster in our case, by the way, this is where you get to take a manual action. So this is tier 2, because I have to go in and take a manual action on this. So after negotiating that with my customer, so it could take some time, a long process. So for example, in my case, I'm visualizing inactive teams, so I can just take an action to delete or archive. But before that, I need to click on my team, see who's the owner, for example, right? And notify them beforehand. That would be taking action. So that would be number 2. So what type of action am I planning to take? Is it to notify the right stakeholders and then delete it or archive it, for instance? The best one, tier 3, would be full policy enforcement, automation everywhere, using lifecycle policies and compliance policies that you already saw on the main dashboard, right? So in the main dashboard of Workspace Management that we saw earlier, we can configure compliance policies that have a list of policies you can edit and customize yourself. Lifecycle policies, as the naming says, it's regarding the life cycle of a workspace when it comes to an end or when it comes to an inactive state and so forth. So it's all customizable. You can define all these parameters and then apply them to your customer workspaces. How and when, again, this is why we have filters or we have all the dashboards that you see on the screen, right? So let's say, for inactivity, I can do the same for orphaned workspaces, which could be a headache. For example, I have 14 SharePoint sites that have problems. So what do I need to do with orphaned workspaces in SharePoint? Do I need to apply a lifecycle policy? Yes, it can make sense. So this is tier number 3. I am fully confident, and the customer is giving me full confidence that, I trust you. I want you to be proactive. I don't want to be reactive here. I trust you to be proactive and apply those lifecycle policies. So whenever my team or my site comes to an inactivity or whatever state I configure, I need a renewal process to be launched, or I need it to be archived as a result, or to be destroyed, right? So that's tier number 3, the most advanced one. So, and we don't only stop there. Now it gets more and more interesting. Now, if you go to the overview and go back to these dashboards, as I mentioned, all of these are integrated with the Confidence Platform modules. For example, data security posture management, it's directly linked to Insights. If you guys are aware or already familiar with Insights, it's our data security solution from the customer perspective, right? We don't need it. We don't need a license for Insights. It's all going to be a free version here. It's not a license, it's a version of Insights that you have to be able to see all those results. Now, to drop a teaser for your customer as a best approach, right? Tier 3, you can click on any of these and it will bring you to Insights. Now, once you're in Insights, you can scroll down and show them the findings of the policies, the advanced policies that they might need to enforce. So when it comes to more advanced policies, like not just restrict the sharing links or not just like restrict the ownership number, I want to remove shadow users. So the policies that are listed right here, these are advanced use cases that are not in the compliance policies that we already have in Elements. So whenever they want to be more and more proactive, you can drop those teasers for them that, Mr. Customer, you need to be subscribed to a more advanced license, which is a policies and insights license, to be able to enforce those types of policies. So to close how I wanted to show this demo, because I don't want to go in too much technical details, these were the 3 package services you can take to market today. The managed tenant hardening, 1, 2, the workspace governance, and Copilot readiness. Actually, it was the 3rd. And second, it was this zero-touch user lifecycle and license optimization. Each one of these money plays, let's name them, maps to a business pain. Each one is easy to productize with Elements, and each one gives you a clear 3-tiered approach. Good tier, better tier, best tier, that I'm about to show you in my slide right now in our go-to-market strategy. This can be considered as an upsell ladder for you as an MSP. That's how you stop selling only hours and instead you start selling outcomes as recurring revenue. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint slides. Just a second here. So technology alone isn't enough, right? To fully realize the value of elements, we need a go-to-market strategy that positions you as a security-first MSP while boosting customer satisfaction and ARPU. So let's look at the numbers here. I believe I already mentioned that during my my demo that by leveraging elements, MSPs today see more than 85% of reduction in M365 management time and a 40% boost in ARPU per added service. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about expanding your portfolio from secure identities to AI readiness while positioning yourself as a trusted long-term partner. Right? So, this is what I was talking about during my session. So, we've structured this into a good, better, and best model. Good covers the foundational services every MSP should deliver. Better would add deeper controls like workspace compliance, sorry, and lifecycle management, for example. And best would move us into advanced areas such as AI adoption, let's say, and content archiving, right? So this flexible model allows you to meet clients where they are today while providing a roadmap for upselling and expansion. Of course, you will ask me, Yusuf, what's the operational impact? Now, this slide shows the onboarding and maintenance effort for different client sizes. Again, these are theoretical numbers. These are not actual numbers, but it's an example of what's powerful here, which is how automation reduces the recurring effort, um, even at scale. So let's take an example of 250 plus users. The monthly effort, as you see on the screen right here down, stays manageable, like allowing you to maybe deliver consistent service while protecting your margins. Isn't it right? So, yeah. Now, looking ahead, AI is a major driver of transformation, but AI without security and governance is a risk. That's why AvePoint, together with Microsoft, is helping MSPs and their clients become AI ready and something we call risk smart, right? So we are running joint initiatives like this webinar led by my colleagues Jared Metfis and Joanne Klein on August 28th to educate the market on how to build a secure data foundation that enables AI adoption without, of course, without compromising compliance or trust. So please feel free to register by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. I'll leave it just for 15 more seconds. And with that being said, my webinar comes to an end today. Thank you so much for having us again. And in case I missed any question in the chat, I'm going to check it right away. And please feel free to ask any questions. So Hector. Yes, I believe, Hector, it's a licensing issue. So why don't we set up a call to give you a NFR license or maybe a trial license for some of these modules? Let me give you my email here. And of course, you can contact IT Cloud for that as well. But just in case you needed any clarification regarding those modules, this is my email. Yeah, so adding a customer inside of the dashboard doesn't mean you can see all the modules. So I think I might be able to show you something here. Let's close this. Yeah, so Hector, when you onboard your customers right here, it's not necessary that they will be onboarded in the modules or you will be able to see the modules, because in each of these modules, you'll have to onboard the customer again. So we give you the flexibility to either manage them here, or just here, right? So baseline management, I go to tenants and I need to add my onboarded tenant, my onboarded customer, I need to add them here. So this doesn't trigger automatically the modules. You will need to be either subscribed or to have a trial license for that to be able to see that. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Perfect, Youssef. Thank you very much for today's presentation, where we'll, definitely AvePoint Elements is the future of multi-tenant management for MSPs, as demonstrated through all the various tools and functionalities available within the Elements portal. Now, I draw your attention to our upcoming training, our IT Cloud Academy training, where we're going to cover mastering Microsoft 365 deployments, more specifically, and the focus being on advanced security and management for MSP. So we're going to be using deployment guides that give you access to the same Microsoft 365 deployment guidance provided by the fast track onboarding specialists from Microsoft. Each guide steps you through your choices for the features and options that you want to deploy. You also get instructions, in some cases, scripts as well, that you can use throughout the guide to easily configure a setting or activate a feature, let's say. So please join us for this IT Cloud Academy technical training tomorrow. So for those of you that don't know it, we, IT Cloud, we have a YouTube channel. So today's webinar, along with other webinars that we've done in the past, are available free of charge on our YouTube IT Cloud channel. So go and peruse, and there's many different subjects. It could be security, it could be Copilot, it could be Azure, it could be changes in Microsoft offerings and programs. So the content is quite varied. So go and take a look. I'm sure you'll find something interesting and to your liking. And speaking of that, if you look at a video, please like it and share our webinars with your colleagues and your network. That's what they're there for. They're publicly accessible at no cost. We want to share the message, and we definitely, are there for you, our partners, and the public at large as well, to go view and inform yourselves on the different topics that are covered there. And as usual, we would like, for you to evaluate this session today. Help us understand if the session was useful to you. If you didn't have a chance to put a comment in the chat, no worries. You can always use that form as well to provide some feedback later on that was not shared during the presentation. And most of all, please help us understand how we can improve our webinars in the future. So I thank you once again, Youssef. It was a great presentation on what Elements can do, how Elements can drive business for MSPs in regards to tenant management.
Thank you, Sylvain. Thank you, everyone.
On that note, I don't see any more questions in the chat. So as usual, if you have any other questions, you want to follow up on something you saw or heard today, don't hesitate. Contact us at IT Cloud, option 6, our partner network, sales or partners at itcloud.ca, whichever one, and someone will get back to you, with answers to some of your questions. So on that note, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.